Good morning. My name is Caroline McCarthy. I am so excited to be here. This is my second time at the conference, but my first one as a speaker, and thank you so much to Martin and everyone for getting me back here. It's one of my favorite conferences in the industry. So we've been hearing so much the past 2 days, so many wonderful things about collaboration and how digital media and new innovations have changed the way that the world works because of new abilities that we have to collaborate. And so I'm here to introduce Kate and Jeremy, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we, and by we I mean everyone in this room, as creative professionals can seize upon these new trends and turn them into things that, that benefit us, that benefit users and customers we work with, and that ultimately make the world better. So I'm going to start off actually with a video that I promise will be the only self-promoting Google thing I post, or I show. And it's a little bit about some of the stuff we do on the Google Plus team, which is the team that I am on. I'm trying to get this to load. There we go. All right, get this to load. Where's the mouse? Here's the mouse. So I'm going to show you a little video.
For me, it's always just been going for a walk in the woods, finding the perfect light and getting the shot. I think I started when I was 12 years old, putting that canoe on my shoulders, carrying it down to the lake, and going for paddle. John Butterell as a young photographer, his epic canoe trip, 1969. That was a long time ago. One day, I was out taking pictures, and I thought, how cool would it be to attach a phone to your camera and hang out with 5-10 people, and they would see exactly what I was seeing through the viewfinder of my camera.
It's gorgeous.
It was pretty amazing. And the next day, Corey Fisk came into the hangout.
I love photography, and I have been living with MS 10 years, and this is my world. There's nothing more to my world than that.
I just said, tomorrow, I'll take you for a walk. I'm going to walk closer to that old tree over there.
Down a little,
okay.
A little more, right there. Lovely.
Look up, look way up.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, macro that one.
Got it. For a few brief minutes, she wasn't going to be in that bed. She was going to experience her own momentary escape. She was on a virtual photo walk, and we didn't even know what one was then, but we were sure doing it. The next day, we posted the video. People saw it and started sharing it. And photographers all over the world jumped on board.
So we're bringing lots of people around and giving them a Hawaii view here.
Oh, yes, we have a sea turtle.
Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
We're in beautiful Cape Town, a couple of buffalo.
This is Utah Lake.
I'll be emailing you photos soon.
I never anticipated that so many photographers would give their time and feel so committed. As a photographer, you're in a special place taking pictures, and now people are with you, and for that brief time, you're giving them a little bit of freedom.
I'm just gonna sneak around here.
It's a very rewarding thing.
Can you guys see what I'm seeing at the moment?
That is something.
Look.
All right, so I'm going to try to get back to this screen. There we go. Are we back? No. There we go. All right. So that's something that at Google really sort of surprised us when last year, just a little over a year ago, we upgraded many of Google's products with this new set of social features that we call Google+. First of all, we had absolutely no idea that photographers, both amateur and professional, would be taking to it so quickly and would be uploading so many photos. Virtual photo walks surprised us even more because you have this community of photographers who were using it for an incredible and really innovative kind of social good through the possibilities afforded to them through Google Plus Hangouts. So the lesson learned by that and by pretty much everything I've heard here this week is that humans are inherently collaborative. They will find a way to collaborate no matter what you put on the table, whether it's digital tools or analog tools or ways to build a satellite or something like that. What's different is that the opportunities for creative people like us to capitalize on collaboration or even just the potential of collaboration are now 100% more ridiculously awesome. And I think that is where we can really seek out the opportunities to find people who are collaborating, to find people who could be collaborating, and to use that to our advantage. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a way that often results in, how can we make the world a better place? I think that makes sense. I mean, maybe it doesn't. I hope nobody's confused here, but actually this is something I wanted to talk about. Kate, who will be speaking in a few minutes, is going to be talking more extensively about the phenomenon of lolcats. Lolcats are obviously a collaborative effort. They are also a very decentralized collaborative effort. No one is really sure who created the first one, right? Okay, so somebody found it, but it took some digging. Meanwhile, I also don't know exactly where the phenomenon of rickrolling came from. Who here has been rickrolled? You can admit it. Not as many of you as I thought. I don't know really where it ultimately, I know it came from 4chan, don't really know what it came from. I do know that Colin Nagy, who's in this room, was the first person to ever rickroll me. I was just like, what is this? This is so weird. But something like lolcats. You have this collaborative effort, then you have somebody like Ben Huh, who decides he's going to make a business out of it. Ben is the founder of icanhascheeseburger.com, which basically turned lolcats and eventually many other internet memes like fail into a business. And yes, people buy these books, and he is apparently running a very legitimate business, not just a business, which is something that is worth pointing out in the digital media world. So what can we learn on a very basic level, and what can we think about? I think that we can start by thinking about what kinds of collaboration are out there on the internet. The first one I like to refer to as collaborative action. I'm sure you've all heard of Kickstarter. Did anybody else back this campaign? So the story behind this, to be brief, there were a couple of women, veterans of Nike, of Apple, women with history in the sports business, in digital marketing, who decided that sports watches were not serving the women's market well enough, both in terms of design and as well as the fact that there are many women who wanted to have some kind of panic button on their watch so that they could go running in remote places and feel safer. No investors would back this. They said, it's too niche, there's no way. I'm probably assuming that there were some investors who said it's not pink enough. Then they went to Kickstarter and they raised $400,000. This obviously shows the power of collaboration for creative professionals on two levels. On one, there's the fact that something like Kickstarter exists. There's the fact that people saw that there should be a way for these things to be funded and created by the masses, and also for a way for the people who back these projects to be rewarded, which I think is equally important, but also a way for people like the designers of the Be a Sports Watch to find and reach their potential backers through social media, to tell their story. One of the most interesting things about Kickstarter, in my opinion, is the fact that you must include a video with your campaign. No video, no campaign. And so you see things like this happen. You see all kinds of interesting mobile and audio accessories getting designed and funded, films happening. I think that's one of the most interesting ways out there that creative professionals are capitalizing on the new, expanded kinds of collaboration available online. Second thing, Collaborative communities. There was a talk yesterday in the series of curated talks about cities that I thought was really interesting. It was talking about community action in local communities and how that often happens when local communities are kind of in a state of havoc. I saw that there were a lot of parallels to things you see online with stuff like Reddit. Who here uses Reddit? I know there are probably a few of you. So Reddit is probably one of the most prolific and engaged online communities. They also tend to be extremely opinionated, and they tend to have an interesting sense of humor. When there was a joke made on Stephen Colbert's late-night comedy politics talk show about wanting to host a big political rally in DC, people on Reddit decided that they were going to make it happen. And they decided that in order to make it happen, they were going to raise money for charity to convince Stephen Colbert that they were serious. They raised 600,000 US dollars. So that's pretty fantastic. And that's the sort of thing where it's not like Kickstarter. Reddit and communities like it, they're always buzzing along and they're always engaged. But they really have the power to build up that momentum and turn it into something that that can really harness the power of collaborative communities online. Something that's interesting is that for those of you who are in the advertising and marketing world, Reddit is seen as somewhere where advertisers just don't want to go. I saw some nodding in the back of the audience there, but there was actually, I believe it was a men's deodorant brand has Bear Grylls as a spokesman. From Man vs. Wild, the guy who eats bugs on TV. Reddit has a running meme about Bear Grylls that resulted in this deodorant brand approaching Reddit about a campaign where they would have Bear Grylls come and do a live chat with Reddit users. And it went over phenomenally well. And people in the marketing world were kind of blown away that anybody could approach Reddit with a kind of advertising campaign, because normally it's a very sort of skeptical, independent, anti-advertising community. The third kind of collaboration that I want you to all think about is what I call opt-in collaboration. And this really is not talked about in terms of collaboration online in the same ways that things like Reddit or Kickstarter are. But I think that it's just as important for us to know about and think about. Who here has used Uber? I know you don't have it here. Yeah, so Uber was founded in San Francisco because it is so impossible to get a taxi cab there. And yet, as far as United States cities go, it's one of the top cities where people don't have cars. So they often need rides home because budget cuts, the buses don't run as late as they used to. Uber uses a mobile app to harness the available time of limousine drivers and match them up with riders. If there was only one limo that was making itself available to people that couldn't find a cab, that would be useless. But Uber's founders are creating their own sort of passive opt-in collaboration, in my opinion, by creating a service that lets the spare available time of all these drivers be helpful to the drivers, be helpful to Uber, and also be helpful to the users. This idea of extra time, extra space, you see this in Airbnb, you see it in car sharing, and I think it's very powerful, and it also really shouldn't be discounted when we think about creativity online.